Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/comedy podcast network. Over 100,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player.
Everybody, and welcome to another Sports
Podcast.
I am Joel Anderson.
I'm Jordan Pomaville.
And joining us, as always, is the sports outsider, Phil Ranta.
I hope everybody's over their Super Bowl fever.
Yes,
Good.
we are. Does that mean you watched the game, Phil?
I half watched it while I was studying lines for a sketch comedy show.
Still counts, in my opinion.
But in the sketch comedy show, I did multiple sketches about football and the Super Bowl, one of which I wrote.
Oh, wow.
I feel like this you're growing as a person.
Yeah,
I am. It wasn't really, the one that I wrote was not necessarily about the Super Bowl as much as it's about people who just talk about Super Bowl commercials.
I do at the Super Bowl party. I do dislike the person who is always just about the commercial.
Yeah, that's actually
Commercials are on.
That's one of the lines in it. But I will share it on our Twitter and our Facebook. So if you want to see the sketch and me acting in it, I'll put it up on the thing.
Oh, but, well, what if we want to see the sketch, but we don't want to see you acting in it?
Then you're going to have to put your thumb over where I'm sitting and then just follow it around with my blocking actor term.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess we could try that.
Yeah.
People at home, just know that if you want to cover Phil up with your thumb, that's an option.
Sports pop quiz.
Uh-oh.
Phil.
7.
No, wait for it.
Okay.
Wait, how many points is a touchdown and a PAT? Oh, he got it.
I got it. A Pat.
You watched
Is it a guy or a girl? A him or a her? Whatever Pat may be. It's time for androgyny.
Who won the Super Bowl?
The Super Bowl was San Francisco versus Baltimore because we did that in the last podcast.
Right. And who won it?
Phil, come on.
It was Baltimore that won.
Yeah.
That's right. Baltimore wins 34-31, the second championship in 11 years.
That was close. That was a close game.
It was.
4 hours and 14 minutes, longest Super Bowl ever.
Wow.
Oh, that's interesting. I wonder how that happened.
Was it overtime?
No, it wasn't. There was a power outage.
I do remember that.
Yeah, well, it was
Is it really that long?
overtime.
Right.
We briefly had almost a sum of all fears situation. Baltimore again involved.
Yeah.
Jack Ryan, I presume, was working to get the power back on.
Yeah.
And during what was amusing during it is they ran out of things to talk about because they had just done analysis during halftime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then 2 minutes into the third quarter, like, fuck, we got to do more analysis. And so they did analysis again, and then they started just talking about what's going on. And they would go to a bunch of different reporters and say, well, yeah, the power's out in half the stadium. The players are over here doing whatever. Now what's going on? The power's out in half the stadium. We're doing what they can. They're trying to get it working again.
They should have just started reading tweets. Just like Joel had the best tweet of the night, I thought. He tweeted it from the Sports 3 podcast, or told me to tweet it, but this is like the Super Bowl for electricians. I thought that was really funny. That made me laugh.
Yeah, see, I was at like a party, and so I did not have audio, but I could tell just by the looks on the faces of the analysts doing all this stuff and the reporters that they had no idea what was going on, and they were quickly running out of things to say.
And if you're just joining us, the power's out in half the stadium.
Yeah.
Like, that was it over and over again.
First of all, who's just joining them? Like,
Well,
I was in and out.
I'll let you know what? I'll let you know, Joel.
yeah.
Puppy Bowl ratings gold.
Yeah.
In the first 9 minutes of the power outage, ratings for Animal Planet's Puppy Bowl 9, that's IX,
Yeah.
the cutest show on turf, surged 54% to 1.1 billion viewers. They went up huge during the power outage.
I did change it to the Puppy Bowl for a short period of time during the power outage.
Wow.
Over the 12-hour program, they had 12.4 million viewers. It was cable's #1 program. It was a 1-hour show. They ran it in a loop for 12 hours.
It deserves it.
Now, at 3 p.m., it had the highest ratings ever at 2.6 million. That's up 64% over last year.
Nice.
Now, by the time 1 a.m. rolled around, it was only 180,000 people watching. in between checking emails from their mom, asking them when they're going to get married and give her grandchildren.
Oh, that was me. I left it on for most of the night. I just let it go on loop. It's great to fall asleep to the Puppy Bowl.
Okay.
Sounds a little puppies.
I
What? I'm not less of a man because I watched the Puppy Bowl? Fuck you guys.
I did. Whoa, hey, buddy.
What?
Hey,
I didn't.
You were judging me.
Why don't you take
No.
You're
another
judging me.
take another sip of your white wine over there, Phil?
Yeah, thank you. I think I will.
Remember what a man you are.
Back to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
After the power outage, San Francisco staged a near comeback, getting it up to 31-29 Baltimore. Baltimore had to make 4 stops inside their own 7-yard line. Speaking of which, sharp-eyed viewers may have spotted 49ers coach Jim Harbaugh felt the refs missed a holding call on the last play of the game.
Really? Did
Yes.
he?
Did they?
If you got up from the couch to get chips or ran a marathon, it was okay because Coach Jim Harbaugh has not stopped talking about it.
They missed a call?
You know, I didn't think it was that bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to get that sort of scrutiny because it was
The
because
last
of the play
call
that
of
it
the
was.
game.
Mm-hmm.
You definitely could have called it there. You could have not. There's some question as to whether or not the ball was catchable.
Yeah, it didn't look catchable. It was, whatever. I don't know. It really didn't bother me that much. And also, it's one of those things with the great umbrage that Jim Harbaugh took. I thought, hey, why don't you not have 3 turnovers in the first half? Like, seriously, like, anytime you complain about a call like that at the end of the game, there's usually a million other things your team did absolutely horrible to put you in that position. So look in a mirror, young man.
Whoa, he
Yeah.
just got scolded by Jordan.
Lombardi trophy missing.
Ah! Call the Mystery Machine team with Scooby-Doo and Shaggy and Fred and Velma and Daphne.
They don't deal in inanimate objects.
Oh.
They're
They're
not.
They're just ghosts.
Yeah, they
right?
deal with ghosts.
And ghoulies.
Ghoulies. Usually those are actually not real ghosts and ghoulies, but
It's usually Old Man Withers from the amusement park.
right, yeah.
He would have gotten away with it, too, if it wasn't for those kids.
The Lombardi Trophy never made it from the Superdome to the Baltimore Ravens' kick-ass party afterwards.
Really?
What?
Yeah, Coach Jim Harbaugh showed up with the trophy at Monday's press conference and said, "We hadn't seen this since last night. We thought we lost it." If this had happened, they wouldn't have gotten their Super Bowl deposit back.
Do you think that it was gone because someone was fucking on top of it?
Maybe. Now, here's the thing.
Do you think someone was fucking on top of it?
No, you couldn't fuck on.
Do you think she was hot?
It would be really uncomfortable,
Probably
Phil.
fucking
I don't know
on top
how
of it.
you would hold the trophy. I guess maybe if you
Yeah, I'd
were
hold
using
that
the trophy.
I
but
don't like
even
where this is
then,
going.
All right.
The question, basically, the question the NFL and the Ravens have not answered, and this is for real, is the same one worried parents often ask. It's where were you between Sunday night and Monday morning? Because apparently the trophy was legitimately missing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Someone was fucking on top of it.
I was going to say out partying in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Something like that.
Throwing beads to ladies so that they take their top off and then fuck on top of
This
it.
thing wasn't it like a year ago this time that some dad dropped the college national championship crystal ball?
Yes.
And it like smashed.
Yeah.
Really? It
Shattered?
shattered?
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah. So I mean, boy, championship trophies.
Well, they're heavy, often heavy.
Yeah.
But how do you lose it? I see dropping it. How do you lose it? It's like losing
Yeah.
the Stanley Cup. How do you misplace the Stanley Cup?
And that's the thing. If you'd think at this point somebody would have lost the Stanley Cup, right? Because you get to take it for like a day. Like it goes all over the
shit.
place.
You know what? I gave it with my coat to the coat check lady.
Oh,
I got my
no.
coat back. I gave her my ticket. I tipped her. Stanley Cup was still there.
Well, everybody always knows where the Stanley Cup is. It's right under their sweet wife while they're fucking on top of it.
Okay, Phil.
You've
Yeah.
sold
Phil.
it. You've sold
Yep.
it. All right.
Calm down, buddy.
All right.
All right. Well, this will be exciting. We have a really good show today.
Yeah.
We do
A good podcast, rather.
wall to wall post Super Bowl coverage.
Right.
Ugh.
We're gonna start it out. Oh, come on. You know
I
what? You
don't-
know what? It's that's the sort of attitude that makes me want to take you and Joel outside and give you my burrito order.
Oh, fine. A friend of the podcast, somebody who listens to every episode, Ray Stanakis, said when I ran into him about the podcast that there's a plot hole. I always go out for burritos, and then when I come back, there's never talk about the burritos that I have or people eating.
Well, we
burritos.
don't eat burritos
Okay.
on.
He was very.
I can
he was
go
very
ahead
frustrated.
and fill that one in, Ray. Yeah, we don't We don't talk about the food we just ate in a podcast.
That'd be
It's
really
not a cooking
unprofessional.
podcast.
Well,
it's a sports
he was very
podcast.
disturbed by it.
Okay, well, Ray, we stop, we eat the burritos, and then we resume the podcast when the burritos
But the way
are
it's
eaten.
edited, it sounds like we're going for a half hour straight.
Yeah, but that's not what actually happens, Ray.
Oh,
There's
movie
any-
magic.
Anyway, so we're going to have a Super Bowl roundtable panel of expert analysis.
Ooh.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, we have Jim Trippett, the long snapper who we had in the program before.
Oh, yeah.
okay,
Him and I
yeah.
came to a consensus at the end of that interview.
Yeah, I do remember that.
We
'cause
have
you were pretty good. Actually, I mean, I wasn't there, but I remember hearing about it.
we have replacement referee Tony Spumanti.
Tony Spoo.
I still haven't met that guy.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
we're going to keep it
ships
that way.
passing in the night.
We have Gil Kipson Jr., the draft expert.
Hey, lock of the draft.
Lock of the draft.
And this is fun. This is a guy who's been on our show a great time, great friend of the podcast, is Chris Humphreys.
Oh.
Brooklyn Nets, I believe, Brooklyn Nets
He's a-
basketball star.
He's a basketball player.
Right, but of course, like any athlete, he's watching the Super Bowl.
Okay. All right.
I'll buy it. I'll buy it.
On. Yeah.
All right, and we got a weird sport.
You goddamn right we do.
And then we have an interview from the most disturbing, cringe-inducing commercial of the Super Bowl. The one where that kid made out with Bar Raphael.
I saw that one.
I thought
that
the
was
most cr-
really
I
gross.
thought it was the rampaging horse.
What?
The Clydesdale escapes and it's running through the city streets. It could kill
No,
somebody.
but Bar Raphael was paid to. It was essentially like paid prostitution, right?
Well,
she
they
had to do
kissed.
like
They
dirty makeout with some guy that she clearly isn't.
It was one of those
Okay,
things
well.
where even if he was a really attractive guy, that was like some pretty hardcore kissing.
Yeah,
as far
the
as kissing
sound
goes.
of it really burned into my memory.
Right. It's like one of those things where it's like, I don't feel comfortable.
Yeah, I don't want to watch this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
PDA.
And that guy's on the podcast.
Yeah.
All right, so we have that guy on the podcast.
Okay, I feel bad for that guy.
All right, let's get started.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, time for the Super Bowl roundtable panel of expert analysis. Joining us right now is Jim Trippett, former NFL long snapper.
Hey, they're good to be here, Jordan.
We also have with us a replacement referee and deli worker Tony Spumanti.
Hey, it's good to be back, Jordan.
That's great to see you again, Tony.
No.
And then we have Gil Kipson Jr.
Lock of the draft.
All right. And as always, well, not as always, but he's on a lot, Chris Humphreys.
To be honest, Jordan, I have not been back for a long time, so saying as always is kind of a weird thing to say.
You know what? You got me there, Chris. So
Do I get a point?
this really isn't a
First
competition.
point I got all season.
Okay, so we're going to get started. I want to dive into some Super Bowl analysis. I have some questions for each of you about the game. So I want to get started. Jim.
Yeah.
Okay, so outcome of the game. Are you surprised? What do you make of the 49ers comeback that fell short?
Well, yeah, okay. Definitely surprised because in the 49ers, you got Brian Jennings, 13-year vet, two-time Pro Bowler at long snapper. So the fact that the San Francisco loses this game to Baltimore, his long snapper is Morgan Cox. But you know what? If you actually watch the gameplay, it makes sense. Morgan Cox out-snapped Brian Jennings. So we're going to break it down play by play here. Okay, first series of the game, 4th and 12 from San Francisco's 18. Hit a 50-yard punt.
You know,
now, I
Jim,
thought the snap on this
Jim,
one was
we're
particularly-
not. We have to let everyone speak here, and we're not just breaking down every punt of the game.
Well, how else are you going to analyze the game?
You know what? Tell you what.
That's where the real play happens, is on the punts, sometimes the kicks, not
Jim.
the kickoffs, the field goals.
Jim, we'll come back to you. Chris, were you surprised by the outcome? What did you think about the 49ers comeback after the power outage?
To be honest, I was very surprised by the entire game because I did not expect the commercials to be that funny this year. They were so funny. There was one where there was a little peanut M&M, and the peanut M&M was dancing. It was very funny. I really enjoyed the commercials this year, Jordan.
All right. Well, thank you, Chris. And Gil Kipson Jr., what did you think about the game in terms of players that you previously reviewed in the draft?
We're gonna be honest, Jordan. I was a little shocked by the players that were playing in the Super Bowl.
Like
Many of them were not on my large board from back at draft time, and certain others who I thought were just absolute locks, I'm discovering weren't even on teams this year, let alone playing in the Super Bowl.
Aaron Maben, I believe, actually
Lock of the draft.
taken before Michael Crabtree. He was released in 2011.
Yeah, Michael Crabtree, bust of the draft.
All right.
The 1 year I did bust of the draft. I don't know why I did that.
All right, Tony Spumante,
Oh,
for reflections on the game.
yes. Reflections on the game. So it was a great game out there, Jordan. But the thing that was very special about the game was all of the cold cuts we got from my deli during the Super Bowl there. I had to eat away my pain because I got fired from being a replacement ref.
All right.
It hurts.
I'm sorry.
Have you ever been unemployed, Jordan?
I have, very briefly, yes.
Don't feel good, does it?
No,
Have you ever been booed by the news media?
No, actually, I have not.
Well, I have.
I'm sorry.
Doesn't feel good.
All right, let's go back to you, Tony. Keep you in here. The blackout. What do you think happened there?
I know what happened to me there. I got a little alone time with the missus.
Yeah?
Yeah. I can't believe that the officials didn't call a foul on the blackout.
Well, there really wasn't a foul on the
Yeah,
play.
it was. Too many blackouts on the field. I would have thrown a flag.
Jim?
Throw a flag right in a cheerleader's face.
Jim, the blackout. How would you have handled that?
I thought it was fascinating. So the real important thing here is that the long snappers stay loose during the blackout. All right, you don't want to get tight in the triceps, come back in there, and then skip one across the ground next time they have a punt.
Thank you, Jim. Chris, during the what did you do during the blackout?
To be honest, I was really thankful for the blackout because it gave me so much time to tweet about the funny Super Bowl commercials. There was one commercial where there was a fat kid who made out with a skinny girl.
Yeah, we're actually going to have him on the show later.
Oh, I get to meet Fat Kid? I am his biggest fan. I've got a Fat Kid poster now in my locker.
All right. Thank you, Chris. And Gil Kipson, any thoughts on the blackout?
Yeah, it's a little surprising. The electrician responsible for the Superdome's lights.
Right.
The one time I did a electrician draft,
Right.
he
the
was my lock of the draft. So, little disappointing. That was the biggest stadium electrician failure of all time.
All right.
And I really thought that guy was going places.
Gil, Beyonce's halftime show. What's your thoughts? What's your review of the Beyonce halftime?
Would love to see her on draft day.
All right. How about
With hair like that? What are you kidding? And those moves with the hips? That hip swerve, great defensive back in the making. I think you got right there.
Chris Humphreys?
To be honest, I can't really comment because that's my boss's wife because Jay-Z is part owner of the team. But what I can comment on is that after the halftime show, there was some funny commercials. There was one commercial where there was a horse and the horse was running.
That's absolutely correct. Jim,
Yo.
Beyonce's halftime show. Right length of time? Think it worked? Did you
Probably. I
like
just
the
want
songs?
to point out, I think there's way too much focus on Beyonce here. It was the hardworking, unappreciated backup dancers that I think really made the show.
Fitting.
You
Fitting
know-
you would appreciate the backup dancers, Jim.
They never get enough credit.
Tony Spoo?
If I was officiating that game, I would have called too many dancers on the field. 30-yard penalty, second down.
All right. Not a part of the game. No fouls can be called during halftime.
That's what you think.
Joe Flacco's play had a resilient season, always good with the long ball, but had an amazing game, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He's a free agent, I believe, after this season. Chris, can you tell me a little bit about what you thought of Joe Flacco's overall performance?
It actually, to be honest, reminded me of another great Super Bowl quarterback, Joe Montana. And how was he in that Miracle Salsa Sting commercial? He was so funny because he's a football player and he was being an actor.
All right. Hey, Gil, do you have any thoughts on Joe Flacco's play? I believe you actually where did you have him ranked in the 2008 draft?
Undrafted.
Undrafted. Joe
Thought he was going to be undrafted.
And you had
I liked Gosder Trillias. Lock of the draft.
That's who the Lions took before Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
All right.
That was a mistake. I'm really ready to admit that.
All right, and Jim Trippett, can I get a very, very predictable answer about what you thought of Joe Flacco's
Every
play?
great quarterback is a great long snapper. I think everybody knows that.
All right, holding call at the end of the game. Chris Humphreys.
To be honest, he should have just flopped. Much like some of the commercials that didn't do so well this year, including one for the Cordon Bleu College. I believe it was a local commercial. It was not very good. It did not make me want to go to culinary school.
All right, and Gil, do you have anything there? last call of the game, or you had Michael Crabtree. They tried to get him the ball 3 times.
Aaron Maben would still be in the NFL had he had Jim Harbaugh coaching him, or Mark Sanchez. Mark Sanchez, lock of the draft.
All right, Tony Spoo.
It was terrible, Jordan. It was awful. It was a travesty. The sideline referee called a holding penalty, and nobody was paying attention to him but me, Tony Spoo. He was wearing a black 49ers shirt and a black 49ers hat, which I am led to believe is official referee paraphernalia.
That was Jim Harbaugh that was making the
holding. Referee Jim Harbaugh did not do a very good job.
All right, Jim.
I'm going to be honest here, Jordan.
Yeah?
Unorthodox approach, but I think on a 4th down like that, you go with the fake punt because it gets your best player on the field. You want your long snapper out there in the key situations that could win you the game, okay? It seems obvious to me.
All right, best Super Bowl snack, Tony Spoo.
I'm going to do a quick plug for my deli. Do you have too many hungry stomachs on the field? Then you want Tony's the Momonte's cold cuts. We've got fresh rigatoni mozzarella.
All right, and that's your new business since you've been fired.
Yeah, fired? Yeah.
All right. And Gil Kipson Jr., you predicted big things for hummus this year. In a magazine,
lock of the spread.
Yes, in an interview with Food Magazine, you said hummus was lock of the spread. Sales after the fact do not reflect this.
Yeah, don't say about that. I really thought hummus was going somewhere this year.
All right, Chris.
I really liked hummus's accuracy. Salsa just falls off the chips. Hummus sort of sticks on there with the pita chips. I thought that was going to make a difference.
All right, and Chris Humphreys, what do you got for us?
To be honest, I enjoy the KFC snacker, and I really enjoy the commercial where the Colonel from KFC dances.
All right, and any final thoughts here, Jim?
Well, I thought the game showed a remarkable resiliency from the long snappers to persevere through the blackout, for Cox from Baltimore to keep himself together on his long snaps even after San Francisco started to come back, and obviously just the miraculous play.
All right.
I think we should go back to that punt in the first quarter.
Thank you very much, Jim. And Chris Humphreys, you'll get the final word.
To be honest, I've been a little bit joking around during this interview, and I want to take a moment to be serious. I did learn something very important from the Super Bowl this year.
What's that, Chris?
And that's the advice of Doritos. I am never buying a goat because you won't forget about that when you see that Doritos commercial. The goat goes crazy.
All right, thank you very much. This has been the Super Bowl Roundtable Panel of Expert Analysis.
Okay, I'm back. Phil got hung up at the burrito shop.
All right. Well, it's for the better because we actually have a guest now.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Hey. Boy, I can tell he's not an athlete.
No. This is Fat Dork from the God, what was that ad for?
It was for GoDaddy.
Oh.
It was a GoDaddy commercial.
GoDaddy.com.
GoDaddy.com for all of your web and hosting needs.
Now, GoDaddy always has really attractive women in their commercials, do they not?
Well, every once in a while you've got to cast me, Fat Dork. Here's my headshot. It says Fat Dork on it.
You're like a comic foil to like.
I don't get what's so funny. Fat Dork is my Christian name.
You were baptized as Fat Dork.
I was.
All right.
Named after Pope Benedict the Fat.
Not a real pope.
I don't think that's a real pope.
Not a real pope.
Real pope.
So, a lot of weird popes over the years, and still not that one.
So, the commercial was kind of controversial in that I think it elicited a lot of visceral reactions from people like starting to gag to other people like kind of scratching at their eyes some people covering their ears and like looking away.
You got to make out with Bar Raphael.
Yeah, it was really embarrassing that they caught me and my girlfriend at such a private moment. Me and my girlfriend Bar.
I don't think she's your girlfriend.
Yeah, well, we did make sweet mouth love, and it's always embarrassing when a sex tape gets out there. But when they show it then during the Super Bowl, that's really embarrassing.
So you felt that was just an intimate moment that the two of you shared that happened to be caught on?
It was a very intimate moment between me, my girlfriend Bar Raphael, our director, 3 lighting guys, a PA, and a craft service table that is now very, very empty.
Was it Danica Patrick there too?
Well, Danica Patrick is my other girlfriend.
Oh, okay. But
I thought she would be a third wheel in this situation.
yeah.
No, trust. I don't want Bar to know too much about this, but Danica Patrick smiled at me, and now we're gonna get married.
Boy, I hate to be the bearer of bad news here, but
Do you want me to do my line from the commercial?
Okay. Could you?
That's.
Could you maybe not?
I'll never forget that sound. That was so awful.
And Bar Raphael will never forget that kiss. The kiss that made her fall in love with me.
Okay. I hate to be the Simon Cowell to your Casanova here, but
Did Simon Cowell say bad things about Casanova?
no.
I must have missed that episode of American Idol.
I was mixing metaphors. I
Okay.
guess, but she's not your girlfriend, dude. I mean, hey, trust
She's
me.
a model. She's an
I wish a
actress in
guy
this
who looked
situation.
like you could land a
So
woman
what?
like
A
that,
model
but-
can't love? An actress can't love?
No.
I'm
she
an
can.
actor and I can love. I can love deeply. You don't know what love is. Have you ever loved? Did you see how much she smiled at the camera at the end of that commercial?
She really committed. She really
committed to me, and I'm committed
Oh,
to her.
I was gonna say committed to the
No,
bit.
we're committed to each other for life.
No,
Me and Bar
but that's-
Raphael are gonna make love in a cave.
Now, have you seen her since the commercial? Have you been in contact with her?
You know, I've called her a bunch of times.
Okay.
And I did get a call from her attorney. She's playing hard to get.
What about Danica? Have you seen her since the shoot?
Oh, God, I left her notes because she's my secret girlfriend.
So I'm going to be honest. If they're both your girlfriends, you haven't had any contact with them since you shot this commercial, which must have been, months ago at least.
I've had contact with pictures of them.
Oh, that's more than we probably
Lots
wanted
and
to
lots
know.
of contact.
Okay.
Do you practice
It's
your
kind
line
of like
with the
World
pictures?
War II, where you have the picture of them and then you jerk off to it,
That's
like in World War II.
That's
Right.
That's not good for the podcast. Listen, it just
Fat dork.
Yes.
I feel bad calling you that. First of all,
Don't feel bad. It's my Christian name. I'm named after the great
Right.
crusader
You said this
Pope
before.
Benedict the
That's not a
the
thing.
Fat
No, that's not a thing
and
at all.
King Henry the Dork is my lineage. I'm royalty.
Actually, that's slightly more believable than
King
Bar
Henry
Raphael
the
being
Dork,
your
I believe,
girlfriend.
was what they called King Henry II. It was.
So okay, so
Have you ever loved Jordan?
I have, in fact.
Oh yeah.
I don't know that I've
Have you
shared-
ever loved a model with your mouth?
No, I haven't. You got me there.
Then I'm cooler than you. Maybe I should be judging you.
well, I
It's
feel.
just-
Whoa, I
it's
feel
just
like
as a
that's a
part of
little.
the
That's a little
scene,
aggressive.
yeah.
Here.
I feel like you guys are being aggressive to me. How do you know whether she loves me? Do you think she's superficial because she's a model?
Well, I mean, there's.
Do you think she's gonna marry her boyfriend, who she keeps getting pictures taken with all the time?
Seems like that's more likely.
Yeah.
Wasn't she going out with Leonardo DiCaprio?
Yeah, she put on that facade. You know how it is in Hollywood when you've got to pretend that you're married to Jennifer Aniston, but you're really gay. That's like her. She has to pretend she's dating Leonardo DiCaprio so she can come home to all this jelly.
Wow. I have nothing else to say.
No, I'm good too. This was very informative.
Did you like my commercial?
I did not.
Yeah.
It really kind of gave me
It
the
was a little
willies.
Do you think
disturbing.
I'm going to be a famous actor?
No.
I think you might get some work. Yeah.
I like Jordan and I dislike Joel.
I'm sorry. It's tough love, buddy.
Go and get me burritos.
Thank you very much for your
I don't
time,
have to
Fat
do
Thank
Dork.
that,
you.
Do I?
No, you don't, Joe.
For you, the listeners of Sports Podcast, Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check out their service. I personally recommend a wonderful book called The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. Joel saw the movie. He said that it was okay. To download your free audiobook today, go to audibletrial.com/comedy podcast network. Again, that's audibletrial.com/comedy podcast network for your free audiobook. And now it's time for another Weird Sports! Weird Sports.
Do we have another Super Bowl-ish weird sport?
No.
What do we got, Phil?
All right, this week's Weird Sport, actually from a guy I mentioned earlier in the podcast. It was a suggestion from Ray Stanakis and Steve Kaufman, who cornered me at a bar, fans of the show, who said that I should do this sport. This sport is Slam Ball.
Oh, I know this
Slam ball.
one.
Oh, is this the
Yeah.
one with the trampolines?
Oh, it's the one with the trampolines, Joel. This was actually on TV, and the more that I watched YouTube of it, the more I'm like, how did I miss this?
Yeah, they played the finals at Venice Beach.
Yeah.
These were both sports I discovered on the couch drunk, flipping through the channels. Last week's Lingerie Football League.
Yes.
That was hand in my pants.
Yep.
This one also hand in my pants, but it was very entertaining to watch. These
Yeah.
guys jumping on trampolines full of slamma-jamma ding-dongs.
Well, for everybody who's fallen behind now out in the audience, slam ball is a form of basketball played with 4 trampolines in front of each net. It's played full contact and has boards around the court. The name is Slam Ball, and it's a trademark of Slam Ball LLC.
So it's basically like basketball played with hockey rules.
Yes.
and only slam dunks.
Yes.
Are you not allowed to shoot?
No, I think you can shoot, but the trampolines are there to dunk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all of the compilations on YouTube are just slam dunks.
Right.
And they're good slam dunks. Didn't see any buzzer beaters.
Yeah, not really a buzzer beater
You
sport.
have a
Yeah.
buzzer beater slam dunk.
Guess you could.
Hypothetically.
I argued this once before
Yeah.
when we had our debate about slam dunks.
Not the
versus-
same. Not the same. Well, professional slam ball games were aired on television on Spike TV, where all legitimate programming takes place, for 2 seasons. That was 2002, 2003, right when I was in college. How did I miss this?
How did we miss this?
I don't know, man.
Around that time, I was watching a whole bunch of the show that was before Wipeout, the Japanese one. But then it was on Spike
Oh, yeah.
with the. It's not important.
MXC.
That's the one.
There we go. Most
That's the
Extreme
one.
Challenge. The Powerade Slam Ball Challenge was aired on CSTV.
What's CSTV?
I don't know.
It's Comcast Sports.
It's
okay.
CBS Sports Network now. It rebranded.
There's a CBS Sports Network?
There
I
is.
guess.
Wow.
Slam Ball returned in August of 2008, airing on Versus.
Oh, there
which
you
is
go.
Now NBC Sports Network.
See, they get programming on there.
Yeah.
Versus says bass fishing.
Totally.
I mean, Slam Ball is also great post-midnight programming.
Yeah.
Right.
You get home from the party, get home from the bar, you're all liquored up, you're
right.
high out of your mind. You
Well-
want to watch some slam dunks.
Yeah, of course, because it's a nonstop action.
And you're not going to be able to watch like a whole game of something. So you don't want something too engaging. You just want something you could watch for like 15 minutes as you wolf down a burrito and pass out.
Well, speaking of 15-minute long programming, the 2008 Slam Ball season aired on Cartoon Network. That's right, Slam Ball, live-action humans playing a live-action sport.
Oh.
Cartoon Network.
I had assumed that they would like rotoscope it.
Oh, that would be pretty. That would Joel.
That would look pretty cool,
Joel.
though, wouldn't it?
Branding.
Yes. Slam Ball was shown on 1HD in Australia during 2009. Apparently, that's a channel there.
Sounds like it's high definition.
Yeah, definitely. That's what the HD, I assume, stands for. Besides, hi, Dad.
Or no,
Rules
it's
and
Australia. It could be
regulations.
holy dingo.
Holy dango, you won't be still scoring is achieved by passing the ball into the net at the opponent's end of the court for points. Who wrote this article? That could not have been worded worse.
That was worded like a kid who was writing his first college paper and it's like
Yeah.
thinking he sounds smart by using passive voice.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you, Don.
Yeah, exactly. God, Don Rickles. The aim is to outscore the opposing team. Okay. Successful score can be worth 2 points if the ball is thrown through the hoop without the offensive player touching the hoop. Slam dunks are scored as 3 points. That's right. You get more points from getting a slam dunk.
Finally,
pretty cool.
style points are rewarded.
It's about
Finally,
time.
the basketball game that realizes what the sport's about.
Yes.
Slamma jamma ding dong.
But speaking of buzzer beaters, all shots shot outside the 3-point arc are also worth 3 points.
Oh,
Lame.
boo.
Yeah, yay indeed. In this sport, 4 players from each team out of an 8 or 9 player roster may be on the court at a time. Substitutions are unlimited and can be done during play, like the game of hockey.
Like hockey.
Yeah. Each team has a coach and additional staff, including assistant coaches, managers, statisticians, doctors, etc. We all know what etc. is. Steroid injector.
Now it sounds like a high school kid who's really just trying to get to the 500-page word limit.
Right, exactly.
Mandatory.
Like Argentina also has land as well as water. There's people who live there. The people there are called Argentinians. etc., etc. Cool. Games are played in 5-minute quarters, just like the NBA.
No.
Right? Nope.
No,
All right.
not at all.
They only really play 5 minutes per quarter in the NBA, so
Oh.
Yeah. But
they loaf the rest of the time,
Right.
Because they're loafers.
yeah. But all that bouncing around's got to make you tired. The NBA people are just walking around.
Yeah,
right?
they're just.
I wonder how this affects the joints. I know basketball is a very tough game on your knees because of the lateral movement and all the jumping.
Yeah.
And I would wonder if trampolines help that out, if it's less impact on your joints.
It's got to be less impact, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like swimming, only you're doing it in air.
I don't know if it's quite like that.
Well, let's just go straight to the positions, all right? Because
Okay.
we're going to get to the fun stuff. Positions. Number 1 position is handler. That's right. You don't get one of those on an NBA team.
Sounds like a guard, maybe. A point guard?
Yeah, it's the primary ball handler on the team. His job is to run the offensive and organize the other members while controlling the flow of the game. Don't laugh at ball handler.
I'm currently in a relationship where I have a primary ball handler.
Oh, no. Oh, no, y'all. But typically he would be responsible to set up the gunners to attack the basket while adding in his own offensive threat. The gunner is the primary scorer of the team. Team's gunner will be the player on the team that will attack the basket and finish plays against the opponent's team's stopper, comparable to a forward or a wing in soccer or hockey.
Interesting.
They call him gunner. But I'm gunner. And then, of course, there's the stopper. The position is primarily the defensive player. He trails the offensive only when necessary and protects the rim from attacking players by using himself as a shield.
Oh, wow.
Goaltending is legal if the shot attempt is from outside the trampoline area.
Ooh, that's interesting.
So
Can
he's just
fouls
bouncing
be
them.
called?
It is
Fouls
really
can
just
be
like
called.
hockey.
Here's some common fouls. When an offensive player has the ball and a defensive player checks him in the back, that's foul. When an offensive player has the ball and a defensive player checks him before he's begun to dribble the ball, foul. If he does it while dribbling the ball, it's all good. It's all good, baby. When an offensive player has the ball and the defensive player checks him while he's attempting to enter the trampoline, that's a foul. So you don't want somebody...
So you can check
dangerous.
them, but as soon as they try to enter the trampoline, you can't check them then.
If they're in the process of entering the trampoline.
Okay.
Because that's dangerous, y'all. Like when you're going from solid ground to trampoline ground.
That's
It
true.
sounds like the whole
Sounds
point
like a
of slam
rolled
ball.
ankle waiting to happen.
This is one of my favorite. When 2 offensive players step or bounce on the same trampoline. It's a foul.
2 offensive players.
1 person on the trampoline at a time, people.
Oh, this
Same
is probably
rules as
so you
camp.
can't do like that double jump thing that people do.
Like they do in NBA Jam when 2 people fly in the air really high and then pass it around. Can't do that.
that was their old class. Do you remember how sometimes in NBA Jam you can get the 3-screen dunk?
Yeah.
The guy would take off like way off and come all the way down. We did one of those once, and my friend timed it just so that he pushed the guy, and then the ball bounced. But because it was off the 3-screen dunk, the ball kept bouncing like 3 screens into the air.
Nice.
Before it came back down to the ground. And you didn't know what was happening. Everyone was like running around like, how do we stop this? We don't know.
Was that how you went through puberty?
Yes.
Is that the story?
Watching that happen was what put me through puberty.
Nice.
Hearing boom shakalaka is what got me through
Yeah.
puberty.
Boom shakalaka. So when a player or a coach of the team argues with a referee and uses physical abuse or in anger, that's a foul.
Wow, they actually have to spell out that you're not allowed to hit the referees.
It's an
That's
aggressive
usually, yeah.
game. This is like street ball only with
That's
trampolines.
usually like not you wouldn't think to mention that in the rules. I bet you if you looked up basketball in Wikipedia, they wouldn't specifically say you're not allowed to hit the referee.
Nah, that's probably true. But yeah, that's
They
a
have
bunch
to
of
have rules about going into the stands now, though.
Yeah, they do. Very,
Really?
very specific ones. Well, yeah, ever since a guy whose last name is now World Peace. You're fooling no one, Ron Artest.
Yeah.
Jacked a
take
guy
it.
in the face the other day. Brandon
Oh,
Knight and
yeah.
the Pistons. Close fist hit. That's a suspension.
Right, yikes.
Can you have close fist hits in slam ball?
Nope.
Oh.
There are some team names I'd like to go over, though.
Ooh,
Please do.
All right, the team names for American teams are the Bouncers, the Hombres, the Maulers, the Mob, the Rumble, and the Slashers.
It sounds like the Bouncers picked their team first, and then like as the other people picked, they slowly realized that people weren't going to go with like cutesy like the sport names and
Yeah.
actually like intimidating
like, oh
ones.
man, I should have picked Bouncer because that's what we do. We bounce. We'll just call ourselves the Rumble.
Yeah, well, no, and then I feel like at the end, the bouncers were like, oh, wait, so were we the only one who went?
We
I
could have
thought
been
we
the
were gonna have lots of
Maulers.
people.
Oh,
Yeah.
man, the Maulers.
I thought we were all picking specific to the skills used in the
Yeah.
sport.
Yeah,
You
what
guys
a
all went with like
jip.
cool, intimidating ones. Now we look like assholes.
Yeah, we should have called ourselves the Rapists. And that brings to an end another Weird Sports! Oh, the terrible team!
Citizens of Podcast Land, this brings us to the close of another Sports podcast. Before we go, Phil would like to give you our contact information in his new character, Jude's voice.
You can email us at sports.
No, don't
You don't want to do it? That's my new character, Jude.
No,
I'm thinking of debuting that character. He loves croquet, but he's the ball. Oh, Jude. No, you can email us at sportspodcast@gmail.com. That's sportspodcast@gmail.com. You can tweet at us at sports3podcast. That's at sports3podcast. You can find us on Facebook by searching Sports Podcast, your little top bar thingy. You can find us on Stitcher Radio. Download the Stitcher app today and search Sports Podcast. You can find us on YouTube by going to youtube.com/comedypodnet. That's youtube.com/comedypodnet. You can find us on iTunes by searching Sports3 space podcast. That's Sports3 all one word space podcast, or find all of our back episodes at comedypodcastnetwork.com.
All right. So oh God damn it! I specifically said no sour cream in this burrito. This is bullshit. I am going back to that place.
This is why I get the burritos.
Lights off.
You have received this transmission from the Comedy Podcast Network. For more shows, visit comedypodcastnetwork.com.